All right, my clock says 2, so that means it's time to start. Well, I am glad you joined us today. My name is Jim Pence. I'm the resident artist with See the Light Art, and we're going to draw today, and we're going to have some fun drawing pumpkins. Well, when we actually get into the exercises, you may not think they're all that fun, but I'll explain later. They will help you draw what you see, and that's something that's really important in the process of learning to draw. As you've already noticed, you are not getting to see my smiling face. And there is a reason for that. It's because I have a very old computer system. Well, it's not terribly old, but it's old enough that doing too many things, particularly with media, kinds of slows it down. And so I want to make sure that that I don't have too many technical glitches. So rather than use a webcam, I'm just doing a screen share, and you can watch me draw and draw along with me as we go through this lesson. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, I am I've been drawing and painting most of my life. I'm 65 years old, and I am a performance chalk artist. Sometimes you may hear that described as a gospel chalk artist or someone who does chalk talk. Actually, I learned a long time ago that I can't do chalk talk because that involves talking and drawing at the same time. And I found I can either draw a good picture or I can say something intelligent, but I can't do them both at the same time. So for the most part, I draw to music. But what I do is I have a 7-foot tall easel that I draw a 4-foot by 3-foot picture on in about 15 minutes. And I do that before an audience. Most of the time, it's either at churches or at Christian conferences or things like that. But I've drawn in a lot of different places, including places as small as someone's living room, which is always a challenge with this big equipment. But I've drawn wherever God opens a door, and I've been doing that for over 40 years. Now, if you'll notice this picture here, there's a great big white area up in the sky, and that's not just because the lighting has kind of washed that out. When I draw, I have a great big white area, and that's the reason for that is after I draw the picture that the audience watches me draw, I turn off all the lights, and then I turn on a black light. When I turn on a black light, there's something hidden in the sky that's been drawn in invisible fluorescent chalk. And that's kind of my specialty, is working with this type of chalk that you can't see under regular light. It's pure white, but when you turn on a black light, you can draw some really pretty amazing things with it. And again, I've been doing that for about 42 years now. But about 5 years ago, I got interested in digital art and began to experiment with drawing on on a tablet and on an iPad. And since then, I have begun to explore more and more what I can do digitally in art. And this is a painting of a rose I did a while back. And here's a portrait I did recently. Both of these were done on an iPad. And so that's kind of one of my new loves. I love to do digital art because I can do just about any kind of art that I want to do, and I don't have to keep going out and buying supplies, and I don't have to get my hands messy either, like I do with chalk, because chalk is really messy. So that's just a little bit about me. Let me share you just a couple of things that you'll want to know going forward. I actually do a live art class every Thursday afternoon at 4 p.m. Eastern. And I do that on See the Light Art's Facebook page. And there's the address down here near the bottom, facebook.com, See the Light Shine Art. Or you can go to our website, seethelightshine.com. Free activities page. And you can also watch the lesson there. Plus, our activities page is updated every week with video instruction and little devotional videos and some samples from our products that are for sale. So be sure and check out that page, check out our Facebook page and sign on to it. And if you don't have anything going, Thursday afternoon, then come and join us for Art Class Live. There's no charge for it. And what I'm doing, and you'll hear about this more as I get to the end of the lesson, we have a series, a 36 lesson series called Art Class. And what I'm doing is what could be described as bonus content. I'm adding additional content, but you don't really need to watch the Art Class series to get benefit from what I'm doing. So please check it out and join us this Thursday. We're going to be talking all about space, and that's not space as in flying to Mars. That's a different kind of thing. It's how space is related to art. And then two more things. One, again, if you want more of the free art instruction that we offer, go to youtube.com, See the Light Art. And there are a bunch of videos there. And I also upload my live lessons there afterwards, so you can watch them even if you didn't get to see them live. And then finally, or next to finally, you might be wondering, because I am going to be demonstrating things digitally today, if you're wondering what I'm working with, I am using a program called Autodesk Sketchbook. We are not affiliated with them. We don't get any kickback or anything from them, but I like to share this because if you, as a homeschooler, are interested in getting into digital art, this is a great little program. It's free, which is the best part. It works on all platforms, Android, Windows, and and Office or Mac Office system. So check that out at sketchbook.com if you're interested in getting into digital art. And then finally, at the end, I will be reminding you of this. You can get 3 free art video lessons, and that's actually, you're going to get 4 if you follow this link down here, seethelightshine.com, how to draw what you see. And you will get those, and those are essentially the first 4 lessons in our art class series. So if you're interested in learning more, then you can check that out later. But it's time to start drawing. And I'm going to teach you today how to draw badly. Yes, you read that right. I'm going to teach you how to draw badly. And you might be saying, well, I already draw badly. I want you to teach me how to draw well. Well, you don't learn to draw well until you learn to draw badly. And what I mean by that is 2 different things. One, so often we, when we try to draw, we want to be perfect at it right from the start. I draw something and it doesn't look like what I want it to look like. And then I get all upset and, I can't draw. Well, I'm going to tell you something right from the beginning. Yes, you can draw. Anybody can learn to draw. Now, not everybody is going to be a great artist, because there are a lot of things that come together in being a great artist. I don't consider myself a great artist, but anybody can learn to draw. That's a skill, and you can learn to draw what you see. And that's really what we're going to focus on in this lesson. And I'm going to actually move pretty quickly through it, because what I'm going to do this afternoon is give you 3 exercises that you can do at home and that you can practice to teach yourself how to draw what you see. So if you want to change that from how to draw badly, change it to how to draw what you see, because that's what you're going to learn how to do today. And unfortunately, part of that involves kind of drawing badly. And you'll see what I mean in just a minute. So if you have a piece of paper and you have a pencil, it can actually be a pencil or pen or whatever you really want to work with, it doesn't matter. We're going to do exercise number 1, which is something that I call blind contour drawing. And it's not just me that calls it that. That's what it's traditionally known as. Blind contour drawing. And what do I mean by that? Well, you don't have to put on a blindfold, but what you do when you do blind contour drawing is you look only at the object you are drawing, and you don't look at the paper. In fact, you are not allowed to look at the paper for the entire time you draw the object. And you might be saying, what? Well, you'll understand why I said earlier, I'm going to teach you how to draw badly, because sometimes this doesn't come out so well. In fact, most of the time it doesn't, but that's okay, because that's part of the process. Now, what's happening? Okay, when I do a contour drawing, first of all, contour simply means the outside edge of the object that I'm looking at. So I'm not worried about, all of the details inside the pumpkin here. For this blind contour drawing, I'm looking just at the outside edge, okay? Now, if you are doing this at home, here's how you would set it up. If you are left-handed, like I am, then you're going to put your paper over here. Whoop, wait a minute, I'm not on the right layer, can't draw. That's a digital quirk there. Then you're going to put your paper over here. Okay, you're going to be there, and your object, your pumpkin, is going to be over here. And your eyes are going to be here, and your hand is going to be there. And so you're not allowed to look this way when you do a blind contour drawing. Why? Well, what you're trying to do is you're trying to teach your eye and your hand to work together. And so let me, first of all, remove what I just put there. Take that out. Get my little eraser out here. Okay, let me get back to my pen. Okay, so I'm going to do a blind contour drawing. This doesn't take very long in most cases. I'm going to first of all choose a starting point, and then this is the one time I can look at my paper, and I'm going to start right up here at the tip of the stem. Okay, so that's my starting point. Now, what I'm going to do is my eye is going to trace along. And again, because I'm left-handed, I'm going to naturally go to the left and back up around. So I'll be going counterclockwise. But I'm going to start here. And then as I move my eyes along the object, I'm going to pretend that my fingers are attached somehow by a cable to my eyes, and as I trace my eyes along the way, then my fingers are going to move with me. Now, I'm working on one screen, so out of the corner of my eye, I can kind of see. So that's sort of cheating, but I'm not really looking at it. My eyes are staying focused exclusively on the pumpkin, and you'll see very shortly. Now, I'm down near the bottom of the pumpkin. I've got a little bump there, and now another kind of a reverse bump, I guess, and then another bump, a little notch, and then kind of a semi-bump, and then I'm coming back up. Now, usually at this point is when I tend to mess up, because I get kind of impatient, and my eye wants to go faster. And so my hand doesn't always make the same progress that my eye is making. And that's a temptation, and that's part of the reason that you want to do this exercise. Okay, my eye has now made it to the top of to the bottom of the stem, the top of the pumpkin. So I'm going to go up a little ways. And incidentally, my hand is really covering what I'm drawing right now. Because again, I am left-handed, and so I can see almost nothing. And now I'm at the top of the stem, and my eye has gotten back to my starting point. So let me see what I got. Hey, that's better than I usually do. But you see what happened here is I ended up way short of where I needed to be. Where I should have been was I should have come around here and then come up and had a little notch there, and I would have been a lot closer to my subject matter. So that's the first exercise. And yeah, it is very, very frustrating to do this if you haven't ever tried it before. But it is also, bar none, the best exercise you can do to learn how to draw what you see. Now, we chose a pumpkin today for a couple of reasons. One, it's a pretty simple shape, and so it doesn't, it's not going to goof you up terribly to try to draw this pumpkin. But what I recommend, if you really want to learn how to draw what you see, is that you do at least one of these every day. And all you need to do, and we're working from a photograph here, obviously, but if you work from an actual object in your house, just grab any household object and set it on a table and look at it and let your eye trace the outline of the object as your hand follows it along. If you do that just even once a day, you will be amazed at how well eventually you can draw the object without looking at your paper. So that's exercise number 1, and we're going to call that blind contour drawing. Do that once a day. You don't even have to spend a lot of time, maybe 10, 15 minutes doing that. And it's going to revolutionize your ability to draw what you see. Now you see why I said I'm going to teach you how to draw badly. My pumpkin actually looks like it's been sitting around for about 6 months and has finally shriveled up to nothing. So we will move on from there. And we're going to go to the second exercise. And this is something that you do after you have done quite a few blind contour drawings and you're getting better at it. Then the next step you want to go to is what's called modified contour drawing. Okay, so what's the difference between blind contour and modified contour drawing? Well, it's really quite simple. With blind, you were really never supposed to look at your paper. Remember, your paper is over, your paper is over here, and you're here, and your object is, up there. Or if you're right-handed, I forgot to mention, if you're right-handed, you're going to do that just the opposite. The object's going to be over here, and your pen is going to be there, and you're going to be looking that way. But the difference with modified contour drawing is you're going to be permitted to actually look back and forth this time. Now, you're still going to spend probably 85 to 90% of your time looking at the object. But at least this time, you can look back and forth. And so you can do more of a sketch. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing again. And I'm going to do the same thing that I did before. I'm going to start at the top. We got a really long stem here. So I'm going to choose my starting point, which is going to be that upper bit of the stem. And I'm going to maybe start right there. And then again, I'm going to look very carefully at my object. So what I have here is I have kind of a little notch that's going to come down. Whoops. Let me fix that real quick. Sometimes my digital tablet gets a little bit misaligned, and so the pen tip doesn't always go where it's supposed to. So I'm going to have to work with that. Okay, we're going to put a little notch there. And then I'm looking back and forth, and I'm going to come down. And again, we're still thinking in terms of the contour. Okay, so I'm coming down, and right about here, it's going to go out. So I have a bump, and then I have kind of a bigger bump. And then I have a little bit more elongated one, and a little shorter one. And again, I'm still mostly looking at the object. Okay, so this is going to be a little better. It's still not going to be great. Okay, and then another bump. And then I've got another kind of a big one with a little notch there. And sometimes when you're doing this as well, you want to look for relationships, see where things are in relationship to one another. I'm actually a little far over here, not terribly though. That notch should line up roughly with the bottom of the stem. And so I'm a little bit to the right, but I'm not going to worry too much about it. Okay, gonna have kind of a flat area there, another little bump, and another big kind of round area. And then we got a little bump here. And we got another little bump right there. And that is a little bit out of line because this is a little bit too wide. So I'm gonna correct just a bit, bring that over. And then I come up. And it's going to come out and have kind of a rounded top. Now, if I want to finish this, I can go down in there, and you can go into more details, and I'm not going to, simply because of the time. But then you can begin sketching more, and if you want to take that a little further, then I would come here, and I would say, well, we're starting right about there. And it's going to come down here. And then this one's going to come down here. And then there's going to be a bump there. And then there's going to be a bump there. And then there's going to be one roughly over here. Now I'm drawing really fast. And there's one here. And one here. Okay, we got a little one kind of out here. That's not particularly well lined out. It's going to come in here. Okay, so, and then, if you want to add in the shading and stuff like that, you can have a little bit more fun. But that's a modified contour drawing, is taking a little bit more time looking back and forth between the object that you're drawing and the paper. But again, still probably 80% of your time is going to be looking up there, not down here. Okay, so that's modified contour drawing. Got one more exercise for you, and this one is pretty complex, and we're not going to have time to do it all today, but I'm going to show you the essence of it. And this one will really kind of drive you crazy. This one is called upside down drawing. And no, you do not have to stand upside down to do it, but you do want to draw an upside down object. Now, this is still part of learning to draw contours. And this exercise works best if you have a line drawing, and that's why I'm using this one here, because what you're going to be doing is basically fooling your brain. One of the big problems, and one of the reasons people have such a difficult time trying to draw what they see, is they don't try to draw what they see, they try to draw what they know. For example, you look at a table, and you want to draw a table. Well, I know that a table has four legs all the same length. So, okay, I got this. I'm going to draw a table, and I'm going to draw all the legs the same length, right? Because all the table legs are the same length. Otherwise, the table would not stand. And so we end up drawing something like this. But the problem with that is we're not taking into account perspective, the angle that you're looking at. And so you have to tell your brain, no, yeah, I know that all the table legs are the same length, but I also know that I'm seeing this at an angle, and so I have to draw it the way I see it, not the way I know it actually is. Okay, so that's what it means to draw what you see and not what you know. Whoops, I'm just going to take that out. I'm erasing my nice blue coloring that I put in there, but we'll just make a bigger spot and work with that. So what we're going to do here real quick is I'm going to show you how to do this one. Now in the event notification for this class, I put all of these images so you can download them and practice with them yourself if you want to. But I'm going to just show you how we would do this. You take a line drawing of any kind and turn it upside down so that what you're looking at is just the lines. Okay, in other words, I'm not trying to draw a pumpkin and leaves and a jack-o'-lantern and acorns. I'm just trying to draw lines. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to start with that leaf, and that's probably about as much time as we're going to have to go into. But I'm going to work, and again, very much like a contour drawing, or at least a modified contour, I'm going to keep my eye on the leaf. Okay, but it's not a leaf. I'm just drawing a line here. Okay, and I'm not trying to make it anything. I'm just letting my eye follow that line. Okay, and now I've gotten here, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it back down. Okay, now when I get to this point, just past the end of the leaf, I've got another line here. So that's going to kind of come out. Remember, I'm not drawing a leaf, just following lines. Don't think leaf, think line. And again, 90%, 80 to 90% of the time, I am looking at this line drawing. Okay, and I'm here now, so I'm going to do a little like that right there. Okay, now I've got another curvy line here. And it's going to kind of come up. I'm going to bring that up in. And then another one. And then it's going to come here. I come here. I'm actually getting into my thing now. Here I'm at the acorn. So again, I'm not stopping to say, oh, I've got to draw an acorn. What I'm doing is I say, okay, there's a kind of a curvy line with a little tip there. And then there's a little notch in between. And another curvy line. It's going to go down here. And then it comes out. It's going to come around. I'm going to come up here. Now I'm going to come back here. Pick that other line up. I'm going to come down right about here now. A little bump. Okay, now I'm coming out with this curvy line here. Curvy line, that's a technical term. Coming down here. Okay, and then it's going to curve back in a little bit. Okay, now I'm at the stem. It's going to come down. I'm running out of, well, I was about to say I'm running out of paper. I don't have paper. Running out of screen. So I'm going to cut that short a bit. Okay, it's coming around here. And down. Okay, now I'm not going all the way down. I'm going to go here. A little bump. A little bigger bump. And then back here. Now, if I was going to take a lot of time, I would go in and I would do the same thing with this second jack-o'-lantern and all the rest. But you see the point. By turning it upside down and following just the lines, you'd be amazed at how well you will do. And I really challenge you to try this. It's a ton of fun. And it's a very, well, I won't say it's easy, but the more you do it, the better you will get at it. Okay, one more thing, and then I'm going to wrap it up. So let me get rid of my pumpkins here. Okay. Anytime when I'm doing my weekly live lesson at the end, the chalk artist in me and the performance chalk artist in me still wants to do some just a little Bible lesson at the end. So usually I give a little drawing and a devotion as I wrap my classes up. So I wanted to do that today. And I thought quickly I would do that by telling you just a touch of my story. I did not grow up in an evangelical or a Bible church. I grew up in the Anglican church. And when I was 11 years old, I went through the process that we called confirmation, which was kind of being received into the church. And I became an altar boy, which meant every Sunday I served and helped the priest with serving communion and all of that. I didn't really know God and really didn't give much thought to having a relationship with God. But I did enjoy what I did as an altar boy. And I thought it was a lot of fun. And one day, kind of out of the blue almost, the priest asked me a question that I didn't really like. He said, have you ever considered going into the ministry? And I said, no, I was not even remotely interested in that. That had never entered my mind. I wanted to either be a veterinarian or an FBI agent. And I was cool with either one of those. But I was not at all interested in going into ministry. And yet God used that because for the next year or so, I couldn't get that out of my head. And eventually I got to the point where I prayed one night in bed. I said, God, I don't know why you want me, but if you do, I guess I'll go into ministry. And the funny thing that happened after that was that I began to take an interest in spiritual things in a way I never had before. I said, well, I guess if I'm going to be a preacher, I ought to know how to read the Bible, because I'd never picked up a Bible before. So I started reading the Bible a bit and found that I didn't understand very much of it. In fact, I understood hardly any of it. But I did remember reading a passage that said in the book of Revelation, he whose name was not found in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. And that kind of scared me. And I said, well, how do you get your name written in the book of life? And I continued to read on. And one summer afternoon, I was probably about 12 or 13. I came in. I had been outside doing something, and I was hot and sweaty, and I decided I'd come in and sit down and chill a little bit. And I turned on the TV, and there was this guy on who was preaching, and his name was Billy Graham. And I heard him say things that I'd never heard before. He told about how this man named Jesus, who I knew from church, had come into the world to die for sinners. And that if you would trust him as your savior, he would forgive your sins and you could go to heaven someday. And that just really kind of blew me away, because I just had never heard that. Grew up in church and had never heard anything like that before. And yet, Billy Graham said, just trust in him, just believe, and you can have eternal life. And I thought that was just amazing and awesome. And so sometime, and I honestly don't remember when in my life I did this, but at some point I said, Lord, I am a sinner and I want to go to heaven and I want to know you. And so will you please save me? And, Jesus Christ, who gave his life for me, indeed did. And that was many, many, many years ago. And I have, by his grace, served him ever since. And I get to do that with art, and that's one of the best parts. I'm almost done here, so let me just remind you of a couple of things. And I have to turn off my picture here, sorry. Just one last thing before we go. Again, if you want to learn more about how to draw what you see, if you will go to that very URL, seethelightshine.com, how to draw what you see, you can get basically the first DVD in our 9 DVD series. You get lessons 1 to 3 as downloads instantly as soon as you fill out the little sign up form, and then in an email the next day you'll get lesson 4. And all 4 of these lessons are pretty much the same thing that I have taught you, just taught by this lady here, Pat Nepley. She used to teach art at a Christian school in California. Great art teacher. And she will be teaching you some different things about how to draw what you see. Also this week, if all of our products are on sale, but if you're interested in art class, we have it available as a 36 lesson download or on DVD. Use the code conference25 at our website, seethelightshine.com. And if you end up ordering something enough that it costs $75, then you get free shipping if you order a physical product. So that's pretty much all I have today. Just remember Thursday at our Facebook page or on our activities page, you can attend our or my live lesson this week, which will be all about space. Well, I hope I haven't bored you. I hope you will do these exercises and try them and practice them. I promise you, it will help you draw what you see. I will keep checking the comments here. So if you have any questions, things that you'd like maybe a little bit more information on, please go ahead and leave your question in the comments, and I will check those and answer those. I hope this has been helpful. I enjoyed doing it, and I just love doing these live lessons like this, so I will be back for more. Leaving now, I always tell my students 2 things. 1, keep drawing, and 2, don't forget to have fun. Thanks so much. I'm Jim Pence with See the Light, and I hope this has been helpful.